Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this Fabscraps card making project. Today is our fourth project and we're going to be using the Eggstravaganza collection. Now I know what you're all saying, but Easter's already gone, Anne-Marie. It has, and it's not that we're planning early. We're actually going to use papers from the Eggstravaganza collection to make a card that is far away from Easter. So it's showing the versatility of the actual paper collections, showing that you can use it for different events throughout the year. We're also going to make our card look as though we've dipped our toe into mixed media. So for anybody who's a little bit frightened of mixed media, this would be a perfect one to have a go at, because there's not a lot to it to make it look like it's mixed media. You'll see what I mean as we go along. Everything I do use I should put in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. There's always lots of more photos as well of both the outside and the inside of projects, just to give you a little bit more inspiration and to remind you what we've created. Always feel free to message me on Facebook or directly through my blog. And now, don't tell anybody, but I think I can finally reply to you on YouTube. So let's not break YouTube again. So we can give it a go if you want to comment, and I should be able to reply to you. But shh, keep it a secret. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need for our project is our base card. This is an 8x8 card, and I know from my friends across the pond, the square cards are not the most economical for postage. So this style that we're going to create would work on a 7x5 or an A5 card. So, in fact, you don't call them A5s, you call them A3s, I think it is. But it's the largest style cards that you can get. However, you can always scale it down, do what you feel, do what you want to do and how you feel creative. It doesn't really matter. Don't be put off by the size of the card. It can be quite daunting to some people to think there's a lot of space to fill. You don't have to fill it all. So, but you know, we will do our best and I'll show you just how easy it is. So the first thing is, don't forget your handmade by. Add your name and use a handmade by stamp. If you haven't got one, just add your name. Created by Anne-Marie for whoever you're creating it for. So the first thing we're going to do is the inside of our card. Now I've taken a sheet from the Hoppy Easter paper from the Eggstravaganza collection, and all I've done is use one of my own stencils from my stash. This could be any stencil. It just so happens mine's a Harlequin. Now I've had my stencil a long time. Please don't ask me the make of it, because I don't know. It's just a stencil. It's something that's been in the front of my stamp box for a long time and I use it a lot. But there's no wrapping or anything with it anymore. So you use whatever you have. I've stenciled using black ink. I've actually used a permanent black ink. And I've just used a dabber to dab through the stencil to put the ink on. I've put it on randomly. I haven't been careful with it, and I've simply just added it in different sections throughout the layer. Now this layer is cut to 1/4 of an inch smaller than the card, and it will sit perfectly through the middle like that. There we go. And that's the beginning of our card. Now already just with that stenciling, it's kind of like, oh, that's nice, that's different. And it was so easy, just put it on, dab, move it, dab somewhere else. Next, I've taken a sheet of ivory cardstock, and this is from my stash, the ivory. I've used the same stencil, just in 2 places, and I've gold heat embossed it. So I actually used a clear perfect medium and stenciled, and then over the top I added my gold heat embossing powder and then heated it up with the heat tool, and we've got our embossing. I've stamped one flower, and this is a flower from one of the Fabscraps rubber stamp ranges. And I've added one pearl drop, oh there we go, from the Tonic Nouveau Neptune, it's called, this colour, and let it dry. And then I've also cut just at the side, I don't know if you can see that, I've just cut away a section of the flower around it. Now you don't have to do that. If you're going to tell me that you're no good with a craft knife or mini scissors, don't worry. I've got a sentiment, and this is again from the Hoppy Easter paper, and the sentiment says, "With all my love." I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I'm simply going to pop that through the actual little section that I've cut on the flower, and I think we'll have it slightly crooked, and then I can add this to my inside. So only a few simple steps with that. Now what I have done is, where I've heat embossed it, I've married up the pattern. Not very well, but when I lay this flat, it will look like, in this section, I've actually married it up perfectly. But I didn't do it perfectly. I tried, but I just kind of, you know, held it in one place, over the one sheet of paper, over the other, and it kind of looks like I did it very intentionally. And the contrast between the two colours, the gold and the black, just looks really cool. And it looks like a mixed media product, like you're trying to add a little bit of mixed media. I just like that. I like the effect. Now for the outside, I'm going to use my bone folder again, because this is a big card and we want it to sit nice. Our base layer is just a black cardstock layer, cut to 1/4 of an inch smaller than the actual card. There we go. Add that, try and get it nice and straight. Now our next layer is 2 sheets of paper from the Eggstravaganza collection. Now these are from the 8x8 paper collection. There's an extra little pack of papers that all work well with all the larger packs. Now what I've simply done is torn a section of paper, attached it to the base paper, and then used the stencil like we did for the inside, and instead of using black ink, I've used black gesso, but you could still use black ink. I've used black gesso for the front, and as it was drying, I've sprinkled gold embossing powder onto just sections of the gesso, and then I've heated it up, and it's gone a little bit bobbly, a little bit blistery. It's not a smooth finish like the inside. So that's where our little bit of mixed media comes in, because we're just dipping our toe into it. You don't have to do it. You can just use flat ink. You could use all flat gold, all black, and just do it however you feel comfortable. I just thought that it worked. It looked great with the papers, and I think it's as far away from Easter as you can probably get with it being the mixed media. Next, for the base of the actual card, I've taken 2 sheets from the collection, 2 sheets of paper, and 1 sheet of black cardstock. I was going to say 3 sheets, but it's 2 sheets. not one sheet. So it's one black cardstock frame and then 2 die cut in 2 of the papers. And then I've simply stuck them together, one over the top of another. So they kind of create shadow layers. Now this is just a frame die that I have in my stash. It's actually a Spellbinders one. It's very thin along the edges. On hindsight, I would have maybe used something that was a bit thicker through the edges. But once I stuck them all together, I thought I'm too far into the project to change my mind now. However, it will work. So it just goes to show that you can use whatever you have in your stash. Now I've got double-sided tape on the back of it, and I'm simply going to position it, I would say, through the centre of the card. Now, so it's going to sit flat on the card, like so. So it's kind of just another flat layer. Now already it gives that 3D feel because you've got the black edge running around the frame where you've shadow layered them. Next, I've taken 2 of the tags from the Easter Parade paper. I've got 3D foam on the back of them. Now, this one was a plain tag and I've stamped using one of the Fabscraps flower stamps. Same stamp as we've used for the centre. I've got 3D foam on the back and I'm simply going to add the tags onto the front of the card. And I'm going to add them roughly, I would say, about there. So we had 3D foam on the back and 3D foam on the back of this one, but I've got 2 layers on this side of the tag, so it stands a little bit proud. Next, I've taken some of the beerboard. Now, the beerboard wording in all the Fabscraps kits are absolutely gorgeous. When I say the kits, I mean the collections, because you can buy everything individually. So this says "one cute chick." Obviously it's meant for Easter, but we're using it in a different manner. So what I've done is, if you can see that, there we go, that's a good shot of that. I've inked it with permanent black ink and I've touched the edges with a gold ink pad, and then I've added gold heat embossing powder just to each side. Tap that off, tap the excess away, and then I've added clear embossing powder on all the rest of it. I've heat embossed it and you can see how it shines. So you can see at the back of it, it's just the beerboard. And now you're thinking, well, you've only got 3D foam at one side. That's right. And it's just, it looks so good. Now, the reason I've only got 3D foam at one side is because the other side is going to have a little bit of glue on it. And I'm just using a white, I would have thought it would be like a PVA glue, something like that. Just adding a little bit to the back. And I'm going to add our sentiment just over both tags and letting it sit just to one side, like so. Next, I've die cut some flowers. Now, I've die cut them with the papers Every Bunny Welcome and Easter Parade. What a cool name, Every Bunny Welcome. I've die cut both the top and the bottom. These are dies from my stash, and I'm simply going to add these, I would say, just around the tags, like, we'll go that way, like so. I don't think it quite matters which way we add them. I think it just adds something a little bit different. And then I'm going to finish the card off with not a bow, but with a couple of handmade flowers. Now, I've used papers and scraps that I've got from the Eggstravaganza collection, and I've just simply used random flower dies that I have. So these could be any flower dies, and I'm just going to add them throughout the project around the roses that we've just added, just to add that little bit extra. So there's only 5 flowers, and they're all rolled flowers, so you die cut them and you roll them to get the shape and the petals, etc. There we go. And I'll just add this one. I think we'll add that one to the top of the tag, and then the large one is last. I think we'll add that just to the side of that tag like so. And that is our project card finished. And it just looks so pretty, even though it's so far away from Easter. It's, you know, there's nothing Easter on there, and it just shows that you can use things you have in your stash with whatever collection you use, and you can turn it into whatever you want, basically. I just think that is such a gorgeous card. Enough room for a nice long message there. All tones in with the front of the card, and the heat embossing just catches your eye. It just shows that you can dip your toe into the mixed media if you want to. You don't have to. You could have used a paler colour, could have used powder blue, powder pink, etc. But I think the black makes it, yeah, I'm going to use the word pop, and I don't like using that word, but it does make it pop. It makes it jump out and shout, and just something a little bit different. I do hope you've enjoyed watching this. Please check my blog for the other projects. Please give me the thumbs up. I always forget to say that. And please share. Please share with your crafty friends on Facebook, in your crafty forums. And I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.